All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting. Also, call us on the Borders and Borders hotline, 412-575-2600. We're taking your phone calls right now. We got about a line open, I think. Paul, big weekend, Super Bowl weekend. You know, it doesn't really seem like there's too much excitement for the Super Bowl in this city. We did an unofficial poll today. It ran on our news. Who are people rooting for in Pittsburgh? And overwhelmingly, everyone's rooting for the Eagles.
Probably could take that poll in just about every other city except for, well, every other area except for maybe like
New England.
Connecticut and above, and people would probably come up with the same conclusion. Everybody hates the Patriots because they keep winning, you know what I mean? They're a team, and the thing is they make it easy to hate because if you think about it, Bill Belichick is really an easy guy to root against. Tom Brady's kind of a sourpuss. He's easy to root against. Gronkowski, the frat boy stuff, is just an idiot. You know what I mean? The Spygate, Deflategate, all of the nonsense that goes on. Now you got Al River on to throw on top of all that stuff. It's easy to hate the Patriots, but to me, I think they're, to me, the best dynasty the NFL's ever seen.
You know, one thing that bothers me about this team is Bill Belichick. You know, he just never answers a question. He never smiles. He gives stupid answers. Why even bother interviewing the guy? I mean, the NFL should step in and need to say, but he's talking to the fans. He thinks, people sometimes think they're talking to the guy that asking the question, but really you're talking to the fans because we're playing that soundbite on the news that reaches 2.7 million people.
Here's the thing. I don't know if the guy really actually enjoys winning in football. I mean, he just doesn't seem like he's a happy guy.
No.
Like last year, they win the Super Bowl, and in his press conference, like the third question, he's talking about, well, tomorrow we got to get started on next year. It's like,
do you think really he's that focused on and that he doesn't?
Did you watch the 30 for 30?
No, I wanted to see the two Bills.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like nothing else going on in his life.
I mean, they said he golfs a little bit, but he's not like one of these coaches that golfs all the time, like Cower and some of these guys that golfed all the time. He's not like that. His off season is very, very little. He just doesn't have many interests outside of football.
What does he do with all that money?
I mean, it's just incredible.
Go out and have fun.
But here's the other thing. It's very clear when you watch that. Very clear.
No question.
That he was the brains. Even when he was with Bill Parcells and Parcells was getting all the credit, he was the brains behind all the stuff that they did. I mean, he's a savant when it comes to football.
I'm going to go home and watch that tonight. All right, let's go out to the phone lines, and we're going to go out to Rob in the Hill District. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, guys. Listen, I mean, you brought Ryan Reeves in here to keep other opponents tearing on your great players. Tom Wilson ran another person again. Mike Sullivan never put him on the ice when Tom Wilson was on the ice. And also, all this stuff about giving Hornquist $6 million a year and trading Kessel, who's making $6 million a year. You keep Kessel. Kessel's a great player, and he's proudly showing it, man. We won 2 cups with him.
Yeah, you know what? Thanks for your call, Rob. Always enjoy when you call here. That's going to be a tough dilemma for the Penguins. I know I was talking about this in the sports department today. They're going to have to do something with Hornquist. I don't think he's coming back. It's kind of in the whole maybe like a Chris Kunitz kind of situation. Do you pay him all this money for these years that he's going to want? I don't know. I know he's a good locker room guy, a good teammate. He's good with the team. But if you're going to have to choose between the two, that's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about Hornquist, though, is he's your one guy that you have that you can really
like your glue guy.
He's a guy that's really feisty in front of the net. He's physical. He gets those garbage goals. He does all the dirty work that, you know, at a team with the stars like the Penguins, you need a couple of those guys.
But can you find a younger guy like that?
$6 million a year for a guy like that is, you know, but I think he's really, really valuable player. I think the Penguins need to figure out a way to keep them both, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if they can. I just don't know if
you know an idea I really hate. This thing where, okay, we're gonna bring Matt Cullen back.
Yeah.
I mean, this town is so hung up on people. You know, it's like we always got to bring these guys back.
Bring Yager back.
If that happens, I mean, but you don't understand what I'm saying? Come on.
And as for Ryan Reeves, answered that first part of that question. You know, Bob Pompiani talked to Jim Rutherford one-on-one yesterday, and Rutherford defended that he would still trade for Reeves right now if he had to, giving up the first-round pick. He only gave up 20 spots, but I don't know. I mean, you're never going to use the guy. I think it's one of those situations where Rutherford wanted the guy and Sullivan doesn't.
I was shocked when it got to be 6-4 or 7-4 that they didn't put Reeves out there and just let him go find somebody.
Yeah.
Because when it was 4-4, you know, I know that they didn't score tonight, but the Capitals' power play can be pretty potent.
They're 5th in the East.
You don't want some dumb penalty. You know, you don't want to put Reeves out there in a 4-4 game, gets into a fight, and all of a sudden he's off, and they get a power play and get the go-ahead goal. Once it got to 6-4, 7-4, then I'd have thrown him out there and let him, you know, do his thing.
I think he can be valuable. He doesn't make that much money. Yeah,
you know, I would be surprised if he's not a healthy scratch almost every playoff game.
Oh, there's no question.
You know,
unless it gets out of hand like last year. I mean, they had those series against Columbus, Washington, Ottawa. It all got out of hand.
I'm saying for the most part, you're not going to dress him in the playoffs.
Steve
hey,
out.
Thanks for taking my call, man. How you doing?
Steve out in Homewood.
Hello, yes. I would like to ask you guys 2 questions. One, I want to know which you guys pick is for the Super Bowl and why. And for 2, I just wanted to know also, what do the Pirates have to do to put more seats in that stadium? Because it said that you only have 10,000 people to come watch you play, and, you know, you just, like, the whole team is just, like, screwed up.
You mean you don't want more seats?
Yeah,
you meant more people in the seats. I don't know what they have to do. They got to bring in a big-time free agent, or they got to start winning for the Pirates. But to answer your Super Bowl question, I like the Eagles to cover and the Patriots to win. It's 4.5.
So you're saying
I'm going
like
to split it right in the middle.
game.
I think it's going to be a field goal game. I think the Eagles are going to be in this game because of their defense. I don't know if Nick Foles is going to be the Nick Foles from last week. I like the Patriots to win a close one. That's what I like. They're going to find a way to win at the end. That's kind of how
I could actually see this being like 20-13. So
Patriots,
yeah, 20-13, something like that. You know, 23-16.
So we're both going to Patriots, but I like the Eagles to cover, and you like the Patriots to cover.
I mean, we're both saying one score. I'm saying probably more like a touchdown. I think the thing about it is Nick Foles went crazy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And everybody is way overvaluing him, and they're forgetting he's still Nick Foles.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like a 27-24 game.
And here's the other thing. Bill Belichick has 2 weeks to prepare for Nick Foles.
You know what? I heard this ridiculous stat today, and I think a team that Bill Belichick plays in the postseason that he didn't play in the regular season, he's 15-0. Something something ridiculous, something like that.
And then you add the fact he had an extra week of preparation.
Yeah, I like the Patriots to win. All right, we have to go to break here. All right, we're going to go to break, and then we got Clint and Altoona, Jim in Turtle Creek when we come back. Back in a couple minutes.